All right, game has started. Hopefully this actually works. If not, we'll see if something actually plays. All right, hope he plays a stone fast. I think I'm white, yes. There we go. Very nice. There we go. Very nice. Yeah, I'm actually surprised most people don't start off with something like this and always start off with an approach. I think they're equally as good if you basically start off with like a more conservative move like this as an approach. This is the same thing as a regular kick, so this is fine. That is the same thing as a regular kick. I'm going to go back to pincering. That's not a good move. You're still giving me most of the corner here. If you're going to play this, you would. If you're actually going to play this, you would actually play c17 instead. You do get a base, but it's not much of one. It's kind of a strange move. I will patent it down. You can cut, but I don't think that would be to his advantage to cut right now. And doing that definitely favors me coming up here. Your base here still isn't that good. You really can't attack my stones because if I basically do this, um, like if I do that, essentially you've got no threat left in your that's also bad because if I do this, you're not alive. Yeah, you're just giving me this, and that's pretty big. I mean, you're building the influence over here, obviously, but not enough. Not nearly enough. This is a lot of points you gave in the corner. So just by points wise, I'm actually way ahead right now. Just points wise, I am pretty far ahead. He is trying to build this out up here, and I'm actually going to allow him to just by playing this. There is an invasion down here, but I'm not too concerned with that because he would have to give up part of the corner in order to do that. Like I said, I'm going to pincer and attack. This isn't really his territory yet, so I'm not really concerned with that. And he already gave up a lot of territory here. Not too concerned. I'll just take this territory here. And plus, I can cut him right here. Okay, like randomly, like trying to cut me isn't going to work. I can attack you from both sides. Although there is something here that sort of worries me, but not really. Like, the thing is, if you do this, you're either going to give up this or you're going to give up these two stones. Either way, I'm fine with it. Like, here, you're pretty much just giving up these, and I'm fine with that as well. Like, you're not going to be able to make both. You're not really going to be able to. I don't know what the point of that is. I'm not gonna. You're not going to be able to. I mean, even if you do, I can still just play here, right? I can still play like I can still just disconnect this one down here. So your I don't think um, yeah, I just don't think you're going to get too much here. And if I cut here, right? If I actually cut here, like you basically have two liberties. So that's not really something that you can actually fight me with liberties on either. This down here might actually be alive. I don't really know. But if this is alive, then I'm probably going to at least take this bottom. This is actually a pretty big eye in here, so it actually might be alive. There's only really one move he can do right now. And that is not the right one. He could have actually come up this way too. He could have played C9 instead of B9 instead of A9. I'm pretty sure if he curled, it actually just might be alive. I'm not really sure. This is a big eye in here, and I'm not really sure if it's killable. I think it is. I'm not 100% sure. But like to me, even yeah, to me, even if this wasn't killable, like it's okay because I can just get I can just get this territory down here, so it's not a big deal for me. Like he'll probably try to invade down here, but I'm actually okay with this. I think I can do this. I'm not 100% sure. I am perfectly fine with this. He does get some territory here, but considering what he gave up, I don't really care. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And obviously he still has to answer over here. That I'm not going to answer at all. I will just gladly take these two. I don't need all of this territory. I just need some of the territory. So this is like a huge, very, very solid territory for me now. And good, I mean, like, it's going to be very, very hard for him. It's actually going to be incredibly hard for him to do to get the same amount of territory in here. This might look big, but it's actually really hard to secure. For instance, there's like a lot of invasion points in here that I can actually make use of. I'm going to use this one. It's not a really good answer to this. Um, I guess I can just jump. I mean, I can always do S12, and that would be a problem for him. I think I'm just going to do S12 right now. All I really need to do is build a base. I don't think this works for him very well. What? I mean, you have to block there, I think. I mean, this particular move doesn't make much sense at all. I'm just going to do this first, because this particular move doesn't really make much sense at all. Okay. Secure something down here first. Let's jump here. I mean, he can do that. I'm just going to ignore that. Like, realistically, if he doesn't kill my group here, he's not going to win. And I don't think he can kill my group. I don't think there's any way he can kill my group. I'm just going to go ahead and live. I usually would, like, if I was really trying to win by the maximum amount of points, I wouldn't. but I'm not really trying to win by the maximum amount. I'm just trying to win, so I'm just gonna live, right? So, like I said, there's like, well, that's pointless because um, I'm just gonna be able to get more up here. I don't even know why you would do that, honestly, because there's just essentially there's no way you're going to kill me. You can't be too focused in on like actually you can't actually be too focused in on killing someone on killing a group. Uh, no, on killing a group. Once you realize that group is pretty much unkillable,
You have won.
right? So there was never really much of a chance for him to actually kill me here, and he gave up like way too much. So let's actually go back and review this game. So I do this. This is fine. This is just a regular kick Joseki. I'm gonna pincer. He does. That's a bad move. Generally, if you're gonna play this way, you have to play this way. I'm generally not gonna let you do this. So if you play this, I'm going to do this and then use the tiger's mouth. So that is obviously a lot better than this result. Going both ways, letting me come up. Yeah, that's a mistake by me. I probably should have just done this right away. Because if I do this, like the correct move is actually to do this, to block right there. And if I do like this, you can connect here, and may have to like actually no. If you do yeah, if I connect there, you can probably just do something like this, and I probably have to come up here and live. So this Hane was a mistake by me. But that's obviously a big mistake by him. I guess this one, like this particular move, was not good by me. I should have done this first and forced him to come out this way and give out the bottom. This, I'm not, I mean, I don't think this is dead because there are things that you can actually do here to actually live, but you would have to give me a lot of outer influence. So overall, it's still not good for him. This, by the way, this is the actual right move, but this is obviously wrong. You have to do this, and this is how it should actually turn out. I'm just gonna go ahead and play these. Like these, generally people wouldn't do. Not because they're bad moves, just mostly because people wouldn't think of them. So what this is that like white gets a lot of influence out here, black gets this little group here, and this is about an even trade. So obviously like I go here. I guess in terms of this move, this wouldn't be that good. I don't exactly know what white would actually do here, but I pushed because like pushing is kind of forcing. So because you can't kill that group down there, it's probably not that good. So I pushed, but this obviously is the right move. And then like you block here because white actually, if white connects, white has a lot of white. Honestly, like you have more liberties now, and white honestly has a lot of cutting points that white actually needs to protect. So this particular way of play is just not going to be so good for white because there's no way that like I can get out of all of this. So to me, like this is definitely not a win for white. There's too many cutting points. So the thing is like you can't like that group down there is not dead. White has too many cutting points and you can exploit them all. So this is obviously a mistake, letting me get this group. It's just too big. You're not getting nearly enough influence for giving up this territory. That's fine. I'm going to take that. That's okay. Jump up here. Now there is this invasion still, and if you did this, I would probably be forced to do this and just give you the bottom. That's probably how this would actually turn out. So there is that invasion down there, but I'm not too concerned with that. That I'm going to pincer. I'm going to go up here because this serves two purposes. One, it inflates my territory right here, and two, it basically says like, hey, I can cut you and get this territory at any time. So invading here is definitely not the best idea because I can just keep on doing this, and this cut's not a big deal. I can just come out this way. So that cut's really not a big deal. Um, so the thing is, like, I can just keep on doing this. Maybe I probably should have done this because this puts pressure on these two stones. And plus, like, afterwards, I can just surround this stone and kill it. So I think, like, a double invasion over here is a very, very bad idea right now. So what you're seeing what I'm doing is, like, I'm forcing him to choose one group or the other. Like, do you want to give up this side or do you want to give up this side? Because both these groups are very, very weak. So he's trying to live both sides, but that's just not going to work. Um, this might have actually been a better move. But that's not really going to work. That's actually a bad move. I think just, nah, maybe not. Maybe just like something like this. I'm not really sure. So he does that. I'm going to invade here. He does that. Connect. Because I don't really want to do this. And I guess this would have worked as well if I just did this. There's not too many liberties in here. So that might have actually worked pretty well. Yeah, there's really no way he can get out. I mean, there is this, but, you know, like, he can't, I mean, like, he's just lacking liberties here, so it wouldn't work. Yeah, I feel like I made a mistake here, so I definitely should not have done that. I definitely should have done this, because that would have put him in a really bad position. I just didn't want the Hane, but I didn't actually read this out when I was playing. So definitely, like, that would be better, because that's more of a forcing move. So here, he connects. I'm going to go here. I feel like this is fine. This is a very big eye, and it's actually, like, kind of hard for me to kill it just straight out. So I actually do think this is either Seki or he probably is, like, because if he does this, I kind of have to do this, and this is already alive. So I actually think, like, when I was looking at this, I'm like, I think it's a lot. Since he did this, I think it's alive. But obviously that's going to kill it. You can just kind of do this, you know. Like, this, I believe, is actually alive. There's really, I do think this is alive. Because you can just expand this eye, and yeah, like, there's 4, that's alive. So you can just keep expanding this eye. So I do believe, like, if you just play this, or even this is, like, alive. Because if I do this, and you just do this, I can't kill it, you know. I mean, yeah, I can't really kill it. So that's actually alive. So that was his mistake. But even with this being alive, I'm still ahead, right? So obviously he screws that up. That's not a very good move. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Extend in. This is okay. This is kind of like what I had planned in the first place for this. So that's not too bad. I did give up a lot of points here, though. So that's why my lead actually went down. I did actually give up a lot of points. But this here is still kind of weak. So doing that is pointless. At this point, you would probably want to do this. Or just leave this alone and maybe even just, like, shore up this up here. Or I think, like, this would actually be a better move at this point. Just get all this territory. Because, like, the center is going to be very, very hard to protect. That gives me Sente, so I'm just going to do this first. Of course, I'm more than happy to take this territory as well. This, I'm going to invade here. But realistically, like, I know this area looks big, but once again, it's very, very hard to protect. I can just easily do something like this. Like, I don't exactly know what you're going to do if I do something like this. I mean, like, this is already dead, so you can't really do anything there. So you really can't. Yeah, this would not be good either for you. So, like, you really can't do anything if I just, like, do something like this. Like, I mean, I guess you could try this. And then, but you might actually have to give me, like, this as well, right? And then, like, here it's still not secured. So that's why I think, like, something like this is just more valuable at this point. Because this, you're probably going to get some of this territory anyways. I mean, like, if you're probably going to get some of this territory anyways, right? But you're not going to be able to get all of it. So letting me actually invade down here. If you want to kill this, if you want to try to kill this, this is probably the way to do it. Because like, if you want to try to kill this, like, I would do this, and this is actually how I would play if I was playing black right now, because I would try to kill this. But in killing this, you need to snuff out any of my eye shapes. and like letting me and then while you're doing this, while you're attacking my group, like solidify the bottom territory. Because at least if you don't kill me, which is very hard to do, actually, you can actually solidify the bottom territory. Because the way you're kind of doing this right now, you're not really getting all that much. Well, I mean, you are getting the bottom territory, but you're letting me wreck this territory over here. That's obviously a really bad move. You kind of have to block. My plan, I don't know if this would have worked all that well. Yeah, I don't think I can kill you on this. So, because the ladder obviously doesn't work for me. Since the ladder doesn't actually work for me, I would have to think of something else. Like, once, once you did this, I would probably do this or something to see how you would actually respond. And if you actually did respond, then I would kind of activate, kind of like, if you tried to do it this way, then I would activate this, right? And now this would actually work. So, like, the thing is, like, in a handicap game against higher ranked players, if you see White doing something like this, the if you see White doing something like this, he's probably not actually trying to invade this territory down here. He's probably just looking at these two stones. Because if you answer and I do, and he does that, there is this like, there is this Tasuji, which actually would kill that. If you do this, however, this might actually put him in a bind here because he doesn't really have a way to. Well, actually, he does. So yeah, yeah. So like, when White is actually doing something like when White actually plays a move like this, if you're playing handicap gaming against stronger player, you have to understand. You have to like read a little bit more into it. Like, why is he actually doing that? Because he's not really doing. Because like this, trading this move with this move is generally bad unless you have another purpose. So yeah, but this is a really bad move altogether. It lets me come down. Yes, it does let me. Yes, it is harder for me to live, but I mean, realistically, like this is a Gote Eye here, so there's basically no way you can actually kill me. This is actually pointless. Doing this is actually pointless right now if this is alive. You can't kill me here because this is a Gote Eye. So I'm actually going to do this. I'm just going to Hane here and then essentially just going to live here. I don't need to do this. I don't actually need to take this. I can just like, instead of doing this, I can just jump out more, which is generally like what I would do, or even like if I was a little bit more braver, I might do this, although this would actually be problematic. So like, I could just jump out more here as well. I don't actually need this down here. I down here. There's no way you're gonna kill me because that's a Gote I. You would have to Sente. You would have to get Sente somehow up here to kill this I. So that's not really gonna work. So thing is, I do this. He does this. I'm gonna go ahead and go here. That's pointless because this is Sente first of all, and of course you let me take this. If you let me take that, I'm just gonna be alive. So that's that game. I think you're trying. I think Black is trying too hard to kill this, but he does like Black doesn't really know how to kill this. You need to like when you're killing a group, you need to snuff out eye spots and take advantages where you can. So like I said, if you're gonna attack this group here, you would do this first, and then do this because now he doesn't have two. Now White doesn't really have an eye shape. White can still do something like this, but now this is actually a lot more effective because you have the stone here. And this, like, he only has one eye even if he takes it. So that's kind of how you would attack that group, not the way he did it. And of course, like, you can't just sacrifice this and this here. So that is kind of that game. I will play one more. I will play one more today. If you want to play, please accept. I'll wait for 10 minutes, as usual. Usually someone accepts within 10 minutes. If no one accepts within 10 minutes, I will go do something else. Yep. If you would like to play me, I'm waiting for an opponent. It is down here, and I will actually take another game today. But I only wait for 10 minutes. If there's no one that accepts it, I will probably just go do something else. There are a couple of errands I have to run. But I don't mind playing another game right now because I do have a little bit of time. Game is down here. Anyone from 6 to 12. Anyone from 6 to 12K. Anyone from 6 to 12K. Wait until 4:49. I am going to go fishing after this. I'd like to get one more game in.
Game started.
All right, there we go. Tenjin, okay. If you're gonna play that move, you have to actually know how to use that move. Don't believe that is a good way to use that move, but we'll see. I feel like Hane and then cut might be the best there, but I'm not really sure because I'm just gonna connect. That's not a good result for black. That is not a good result for black at all. This is also not a good move for black. You're you're not really getting well, that's just bad, but actually no, I should have played M16, sorry. That's a wrong move. Because I really can't kill this thing anyways. Also, when I do this, you should have Atari'd here first. So the thing is, like, this is not a good result for black. It's actually not bad for white. White has a lot of white did actually get a lot of influence, but I personally don't really like it for white that much, I guess. I think it's okay. It's not bad, but there's like better results for white. But I am like breaking all. But I am actually breaking all the influence, so this is actually fine for me. I will crawl as long as he wants to crawl. He's not getting too much territory, and I'm getting quite a bit of influence. The Tenjin move does actually bother me a little bit, but not really that much. This is actually a really bad situation for black. This is not a good situation for black at all. What? That doesn't make it. That move just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that really doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, you're forcing me up. You can't kill, like, you cannot kill this group. You have, you have like way too many problems yourself. You actually have like way too many problems yourself, and you, well, I don't think you can kill this group. Is the problem? Like, you're forcing way too hard. You are forcing, you're trying to force way too hard here. And the other thing is, like, your group here is not alive. You like, he has problems all over the place. He's being, this is just like, this is just being way too aggressive. This is being way too aggressive. Like, you basically just sacrificed this entire thing. I'll give you these three up here. That's not a huge problem for me. Especially since you just gave me all of this. And you have to spend another move or two to actually get that. I'm just going to solidify my thing down here. These are, the three here are pretty big, though. I'll give you that. The three there are actually pretty big, but since you sacrificed all of these, I'll make that trade. Possibly like the worst of both worlds for you to do that. You can't let me take that, because now you're in a lot of trouble here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. You are in a whole world of trouble. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to connect this first. You have to remember, I'm not really afraid of any of this. I'm going to go over here. It's kind of putting me in a weird fight, but if I just disconnect this, it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to tighten his liberties first. I don't know if I can kill him. I don't think I can. No, I cannot, so I'm going to get myself out first. But he has so many things to worry about here. He, like, legitimately has a lot of stuff to worry about here. I can come out this way as well. He's got too many disparate groups. None of my groups are really that weak. Because all I really have to do is play this, and I'm actually perfectly fine. Like, I can just keep forcing him down. And he really can't do anything about this. like one little thing I'm worried about, but not really all that much. Actually, no, it's actually a pretty big worry, but we'll see how this goes. I guess I can let him kill that. It doesn't really matter. I'll just take whatever it was over here. It's a bad play by me, but whatever. There is a problem with playing this, though. There actually is a problem with playing this. I'm going to go ahead and kill this. But there is actually a problem in playing that. He's just trying too hard. I mean, I can extend down. Actually, no, I can't. I'm just going to take it. Like, I don't really know what the obsession is with playing moves like this. Because it doesn't really help you. I mean, it truly doesn't. Like right now, Black is in a losing situation because he's given up too much here. And there's too many groups for me to actually attack him with. So like if I go somewhere like this, he's in a pretty bad spot. Like this is, yeah, that's sort of in danger, but not really. I mean, I think he's still trying to obsess with killing this, but I've got way too many liberties. This is like dead, so you can't really do anything about that. Also, like, none of these moves make any sense. Like, I think he's playing too many forcing moves, hoping that I screw up somehow, but that generally doesn't work. It really doesn't work with, like, a stronger player. Okay, so, like, the thing about playing against players like this is, like, if you know how to deal with, like, moves, like the moves that don't really make sense, you will beat him, like, almost 100% of the time. If you don't know how to deal with moves that don't make sense, then you will lose to them sometimes. Because right now he is just essentially because right now he's basically just digging himself a deeper and deeper hole. It's like game two is like how to deal with random moves. Because if you know how to deal with these random moves, you will win like 100% of the time against players like this. If you don't know how to deal with random moves, you're going to lose a lot of the time. And like all the way up to like I've actually seen players like this all the way up to like 3 or 2K. Sometimes they'll take a game, sometimes they will actually take a game off me. Um, Sometimes they will actually take a game off me because I don't really know how to deal with their random moves on the first game. But like after the first game, it's pretty much like solid from there because like I adjust to their way of play. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. It's like once I actually adjust to their way of play, they basically have no shot of winning against me. Like even players like this that are like 2 or 3 Q, they don't really have too much of a chance of winning against me once I adjust to their way of play. What? So like the only move left was to actually before doing this, obviously it was to do this. I'm gonna connect this back first because if he doesn't really answer me, he's going to lose a lot here. He has to do that, yes. So I got these points back. Um, yeah, so I'm just going to attack this now. And no, you can't just sacrifice like this for whatever you're doing. I'm just going to secure this territory down here. He might be able to make two eyes, but I'm not really all that concerned because I already have all of this territory and all of this. So to me, it's not that big of a concern. Also, like with moves like this, you cannot do that because this is dead. You have to try to, you basically have to try to live this. Now, given, yeah, I will admit it is pretty much impossible to make this alive. But the thing is, like at this point, you're basically losing all of that, and you're not going to recover from that. I mean, I'm not really trying to kill this anymore. Because, I mean, all he has to do is play like, yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to get what I can out of this. Oh yeah, I'm just going to get what I freaking can out of this. And take the corner points, obviously. Oh, so essentially, when you're playing against a player like this, the real question is like, that's not very big. The real question is like, do you know how to deal with just moves that seemingly don't make any real sense? If you do, he is not going to win against you. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and play here, just to end like any kind of like confusion there was, because basically like this is sure I'm not going to answer that. I'm so many liberties ahead that it doesn't really matter. I mean, realistically, I don't even have to. Even if he takes those two, it's kind of irrelevant. Like, I am a lot of liberties ahead. There's nothing he can do here. Hoping I mess up is not a valid plan here. That's a move. I forgot about that. I mean, I'm not going to fight that with you. I'm just going to connect. Oh, wait, I didn't need to connect that. It's my bad. I don't think I even need to answer that move, honestly, but I will, just in case. Actually, no, he could have actually came down this way, I guess. Not that it really matters all that much, but... Also, if you're learning Go, you probably shouldn't learn Go like in this method where like you just play a lot of moves and see if your opponents know how to deal with them. Like this is the actual way. This is like a way that stronger players would play like weaker players in handicap games, but it's generally like in a tournament in like an even game tournament. This is not like this is not like his method of playing as you go up the ranks becomes more and more impossible. As you go up the ranks, his method of playing becomes like more and more impossible because people just because like you're essentially playing losing. You're essentially just playing losing moves. Um, you're more or less just playing losing moves. See, like I just got that. You're essentially just playing losing moves and hoping that your opponent doesn't know how to respond. And as you move up the ranks, your opponents will actually know how to respond to more and more of these moves. So you're going to just start losing out more and more. So that's the reason why you learn Josekis and things in the first place. So you don't put yourself like way behind before the mid game even starts. Like learning a proper opening is very important for like especially like you're in like the mid SDKs, upper SDKs. I'm not going to respond to that because I don't need to. Um, yeah, these kind of moves just really aren't as relevant as some of the others. Because if he's trying to tighten all the liberties and kill this group, it's not really going to work. And that is because I can just Atari here. He didn't need to fix that. I'm going to connect this. See, I have 3 liberties here, and he only has 2 here, so there's absolutely nothing he can do here. And to actually tighten this liberty, he would actually need to tighten his own liberty, so that wouldn't work. Like I said, I have like 5 liberties here. He has like 2 here at the most. That also didn't need to be repaired yet. It will in a while, but not yet. And that's like the last point. Actually, that's not even a point. That's not relevant. You can't actually...
Pass.
Like for every move you fill in, you're essentially giving me one more point. I'm just going to destroy the eyes.
Undo requested. Undo granted. Undo requested. Undo
All right, stop
granted.
like BSing, man. Just if you're gonna do this, just resign, because you don't. There's no hope of winning here. You can see there's nothing here. You don't need to play out every last possibility if you can easily read it.
You have won.
Yeah, you don't need to play out every last. You don't have to play out every last possibility if you can read it. So, reviewing this game, the last like 30, 40 moves isn't really worth reviewing, but this is fine. Generally, yeah, you want to do this and then have white just come out here. Pincering is not too bad. It's not as good as the others. It does let me go down that way. And the thing is, I'm just forming like thickness up here, and what you're getting in the corner isn't worth as much. So this is a good trade for white. That's a horrible move. That's also a bad move by me. I should have just kept on coming out this way. You're like on the second row, so trading like 1 point for influence at this point in the game is very, very bad. So you want to be like on the 4th or 5th row if you want to trade. That's a mistake by me. This, you would definitely Atari this first, because yeah, I would have to connect, and then you would do this, and you would probably be in a much better position. So you would definitely Atari that first. Blocks, I'm going to extend up. Then I'm going to come over here and threaten the stone. I think for black, like the best thing to do is just this right now. Just ignore that. You know, that stone is lost. If I spend another stone capturing it, it's your victory because that stone isn't that much territory. So he does this. I'm going to go up. And he's basically just making me thicker and thicker, and it's getting worse and worse for him for every move he does. Like once again, trading with me on the bottom line all this much is generally not very good for black. So there is, I think you can do this here. I wouldn't want to do this because that would actually put a lot of pressure on me. So I would do this. You could do this and then try to threaten me this way, and that would actually be a lot more effective. And that's probably what I would have done. Letting me come out here, like this actually gives me a lot of liberties. There's really no way you can threaten me here. Going down, this is Sente because if I fly, you're dead. If I come in here, you're dead. So you have to respond. That doesn't make any sense at all. And like forcing me out this way where you can't enclose me is generally not a winning play. Because there's literally no way you can actually enclose me. Obviously, like, you know, this I could have connected. And I probably should have connected. But I guess I wanted to kill this group first. Now, this group is worth maybe 20, 25 points. This is obviously not going to work. But this has killed it. If you actually just do this and kill these three, that's actually a good amount of points plus influence, which is exactly what black should have done. Just kill these three right now. I probably wouldn't bother running these three. I might do something like this, but I wouldn't exactly run those three. So obviously I'm going to take that down there. Okay, so for this move, you either do this and just let me take those three, because that solidifies all this group and all my territory, or you make this trade right now, which I definitely would not do, and give me this up here. I would just say you should just sacrifice those three on the bottom because you're not going to be able to not sacrifice those three. So this is obviously a connect. You can't let me like take the stone, because if you let me take the stone, like you still owe a move down here, and now like your shape here is really bad. Especially if I play K12, then your shape's like just completely ruined. So you can't really do that. Obviously, I'm going to play over here. If you Atari this, I'm just going to connect. Not a big deal. And I can always play this Ko as we're like chasing along here. So not very good for black. I'm going to connect this first because that forces him to connect. Although like you might just consider doing this at this point, just giving up those points down there. Forces him to connect. I'm going to extend out here because if I do this, obviously I'm dead. So I'm not going to clean that. Remember, like, since I have, since this group's dead, I'm not afraid to fight. This group's dead, so it links, like, both this group and this group. So I'm not afraid to create one weak group to divide, like, a bunch of weak groups for black. So, like, this group is still a little bit weak if I play H15. And now you're essentially creating, like, a bunch of weak groups for me to attack. Now I play H15. Now this is a weak group, this is a weak group, and this could actually be a weak group as well. So you have multiple weak groups against my one weak group. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm sacrificing this in here to get to be able to attack this out here later. Obviously I'm just going to take that. You can kill these three, but they're not worth very much. I don't understand like what the obsession with this move actually is. That doesn't make any sense at all. It's just overall a bad move. Because like at the most you can get me to do this, you do this, and I do this. Like that's the most you'll actually get me to do. And this group is still in danger. This group is still not intact. So I don't understand I don't really understand the purpose of moves like this. I don't understand what the thought process is for moves like this. Obviously, like this group is in obviously this group is actually in a lot of danger now because I'm very thick on both ways. You don't want me to disconnect this. And obviously, like if you're going to play, you have to play this way. You would not play this. You would definitely play this. But either way, this is not really a good situation. I'm going to take that first. And basically just make sure I'm alive down here, get this territory at least, and then just continue attacking this up here. And this is basically just reading skill. This is basically just reading skill. I mean, I know if I push twice and do this, he's basically dead, so yeah. I don't really see. I mean, if you want to fight, you would just cut here. But if you did that, I would probably just take this way out, kill this and this. If you Atari here, I take this. You take this. Basically, like I get all of this. Then you do something here. I'm not exactly sure what. So that's how it would actually play this. So like when he cuts here, you don't come out this way, guys. That would be a mistake. Yes, it would work out fine for white. It would actually work out okay for white because white has too many liberties, but this is the better way to Atari. Sorry, not that. This is the superior way to Atari. Force him to do this, connect this, let him take that, and then extend down. That's actually the way to play. So obviously now he's trying to live this group down here. I'm going to do this first because I know this is Sente. If he tries to make a move down here, I extend down. He has to kind of extend as well. And I'm pretty sure at this point, this would actually be dead. So this is definitely like I can make this move because it's Sente and he has to answer. Then I'm going to play here and try to kill this group here. Here you cannot play this. You have to play this and try to make eyes down here. Because like what you're doing by playing this is basically you're saying I'm sacrificing this. You can't sacrifice that. It's too big. There is essentially no way you can actually live down here, so it doesn't really matter. So that's basically how this game worked out. This game was really weird because it was a lot of moves that really didn't make a lot of sense. But I can see the logic in a 10Q doing this because a lot of 10Q players would not know how to deal with these moves. But if you just play the right direction, if you just learn a little bit more reading and you basically like play to overall shape, you will know how to deal with these moves. And you get less and less of these type of players as you go up in rank because more and more people know how to deal with moves like this. So this is kind of like fighting and reading skill, but it only goes up to a certain level. Once you get to like the 5-6 dan region, like no one plays like this because if they play like this, they'll pretty much lose like 9 out of 10 games, if not 10 out of 10 games. But in the 10Q region, you'll probably see quite a few of these players. And it's just like you got to practice your reading skill, you got to practice your overall fighting skill. So that is this game. Hope you enjoyed this stream. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. I will be back later, and I will see you guys